Hi, this is Shep Altschuler, publisher of TimeSharing Today. Welcome to this broadcast of TimeSharing Today Radio, featuring news and views of owners and industry professionals. Today we'll be talking to timeshare owner Clifford McDonald from his home in New Zealand about his experiences at LAKESIDE Villas Resort in Taupo, New Zealand, and renting timeshares on a number of occasions here in the U.S. Hi, Clifford. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you very much for calling me in New Zealand.
We're on a completely different time schedule and days. This is Tuesday, you're Wednesday. We're 8 o'clock at night, and what time are you there now?
Midday Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay, good. So we'll know what's going to happen in the world tomorrow at this time when I speak to you today. Very interesting because you're a timeshare owner, and we like to present the news and views of owners and industry professionals. So take a minute, just tell our listeners how long you've owned timeshares.
I've had my timeshare, which is situated in Taupo in the middle of the North Island, and I've had it for approximately 30 years.
Really? So you got into timesharing when it was a pretty new concept?
It was. My timeshare was being built when I went through Taupo many years ago, and I bought a one-bedroom unit, and then about 5 or 6 years ago I bought a villa. The one-bedroom unit sleeps 5, and the villa, which is completely self-contained with its own laundry and spa pool, that sleeps 7.
And do you only own one timeshare, or do you have multiple timeshares?
And 2 weeks at Lakeside Villas in Taupo.
What prompted you to get into buying a timeshare back then? What was the marketplace like, when you first were looking into it?
Well, there was a few criminals, not criminals, but some dubious people trying to sell them. But this was a new one going up, and I went past it this day, and they were offering extremely good terms for the one-bedroom unit, and so I bought one. And at that stage, I had an extra week's holiday per year, so it just worked out fine.
And did you use it primarily to use the resort? Have you used it for exchange, or do you use a combination of exchange and just going back to your home resort?
We use our home resort at least twice a year, and we have exchanged and rented, predominantly rented overseas. We rented in America. We rented 4 timeshares when we went on our trip to America a few years ago. We rented one in Anaheim, one in New York, one in Carlsbad, and one in New Orleans.
And what would you say was your best rental experience? Where was that? What was your favorite U.S. destination?
Our favorite city is New York, actually. We've been back to New York 3 times, but haven't stayed at different places in New York. All the timeshares, I must say, they were exactly what we expected. They were clean and tidy, and exactly as the write-ups had given.
Now, I think our readers, and you're among the readers of TimeSharing Today, they're always talking about the initial sales presentation, and quite often it was, high pressure and a little bit of a nightmare sometimes, but they ended up buying back then, 25, 30 years ago. Was your first experience a high pressure sales presentation, or was it kind of friendly and easygoing?
It was very friendly and easygoing. A number of years later, I was approached on the street at Taupo to come to a timeshare presentation at a different resort, and that was very high pressure and very expensive. I didn't buy.
You were able to walk away, which is not always typical of what timeshare owners feel. They're trapped in a sales presentation, and there's no way out of the presentation unless they agree to buy. And then, that's a little bit of how the timeshare game is played. But you were able to just leave on your own volition and stayed with your initial purchase at your home resort.
Yeah, it was interesting to note that at that presentation where I was high pressured, there was several family groups there that looked like they were getting really pressured into buying.
And at your home resort, is it primarily people from New Zealand, or is it an international destination or a mix of owners there?
The mixture of owners, I would say that we would be predominantly New Zealand owned, but a lot of people exchange there from overseas.
A little bit about your home resort. What are the amenities at the resort, and a little bit about the destination? What do travelers find when they go there? We have had a couple of articles in TimeSharing today about people who have gone to New Zealand and enjoyed the experience very much. So what is the appeal of that particular resort and destination?
That resort is about 3 hours, 15 minutes from where we live. It's situated at Lake Taupo. Taupo is a huge lake, very well famous for trout fishing, and it also is a base for skiing in the winter on our mountains. At our timeshare, they have a mixture of studio units which sleep 3. They have 1-bedroom units that sleep 5. They have villas which sleep 7. At the resort, we have a tennis court, indoor heated swimming pool. We have a squash court. We have saunas. We have a golf range. We have snooker and billiard tables, and we also hire out to the owners bicycles and kayaks, which they can use on the lake.
And a little bit more about the ownership. There, is this like a right to use, a lease, or do you actually own the deed or rights to that property to your units?
The units. I own it in perpetuity. In other words, 999 years. I don't think I'll be around for that. But I'm entitled to 2 weeks a year, and because my wife is a school teacher, we normally go in the school holidays.
So you have that advantage, so that's wonderful. And that's common in destinations outside the U.S. You'll find what we call right to use. I happen to own one in the Caribbean, which is a 40-year right to use. And it works out very well. Over the years, have you found the resort to be well maintained, well managed, to your satisfaction as an owner?
Excellent. Actually, superbly. Well, they've got a tremendous amount of awards. In fact, this weekend, this Saturday, I'm going up to the annual general meeting, and I've been asked to speak at it for a few minutes.
So what do you think you'll be saying?
Two things. A bit of experience about what we've done in exchange, and I'm a member of Lions International, which you've heard of, no doubt.
Yes.
And we save the screw tops, the aluminium screw tops on top of the wine bottles. And we save those, and the resort saves them for us, and we sell them, and we give the money to the children who are on dialysis machines. It supports young children on dialysis machines. So that's one of the things I'll be talking about when I'm up there.
So you do fundraising for charitable causes, which I think is excellent. When you exchange or you travel, do you travel with family? I know you have your wife. Do you travel with friends and family, or is it mostly you and your wife that travel to the resort?
In New Zealand, we normally go just my wife and I. When we've gone overseas, we've normally taken our son with us, and we exchanged, at least rented, through Red Week, which we found exceptionally good.
Yes, they're one of our advertisers, and they have a very good online presence, which makes it very helpful for people looking to rent or buy. So you haven't gone through the normal exchange process, but there are usually good rental values in the marketplace today. And speaking of New York, where did you stay? I believe you had mentioned that you had stayed at the Manhattan Club in New York.
When we first went to New York, we stayed at the Manhattan Club. We did that through Red Week. We managed to get a week at the Manhattan Club. Next time we went to New York, the Affinia Manhattan Hotel had some timeshare rooms available to rent, and we rented one there.
Okay, and was your experience at the Manhattan Club good? Because it's under a lot of controversy now with a lot of owners that aren't very happy with what's going on at that particular timeshare property.
I've read that in your magazine, and all I can say is that when we were there, we found it excellent. The staff were very good. But I think I wrote to you regarding we're always getting emails from the Manhattan Club offering us weeks there, and I was under the impression that they weren't allowed to do that. For example, I got one a few weeks ago which offered us a luxury suite, including fitness and business centre, breakfast daily, champagne and chocolates. All we had to do was select the dates we wanted to go.
The Attorney General of New York has put a stop on timeshare sales activities. Maybe this might fall outside the realm of that, but it's kind of curious. And so we'll take a look at that and see what it entails. When you look at the industry itself, are there a lot of timeshares, within New Zealand?
In Taupo, where we have ours, there's at least four or five timeshares in Taupo. Although one we understand is closing down to be redeveloped.
Oh, really?
The thing that with our timeshares in New Zealand, I don't know whether you know this, but our timeshares either run from Friday to Friday or Saturday to Saturday. So it's always a full week.
So that's common here in the state.
Though if you look at the site of the Manhattan Club, particularly through Red Week in their rentals, they have a lot of rentals for 3 days or 4 days. I presume that's because people come into buy in New York for 3 or 4 days for the weekend and then either use it or don't.
Exactly. So with your timeshare, you tend to spend a full week there. You have a week's use, and you spend the full week there each time you go?
Yes, we do. We do, because we've got friends in the area, and we can go for day trips, and we just love the Taupo area.
The answer is pretty obvious, but I guess you would recommend that any of our U.S. readers, listening to this broadcast, consider putting New Zealand on their bucket list of places to go?
Certainly. We've just had some friends out where we met in New York a number of years ago who spent a few days with us recently, and they've got a timeshare down in Florida somewhere. They would like to come back to New Zealand, and if your listeners look on Red Week and click on timeshares to rent in New Zealand, you'll see plenty listed.
Overall, you read about conditions in the marketplace or what's going on. You stay in tune with that through TimeSharing Today, and I'm glad that you do find value in reading the publication. So overall, what is your feeling, whether it's positive or negative about the industry?
I'm pretty positive about it. There are obviously a lot of resales going on at present. For example, at the resort we own, the villas that seat 7, which were bought, say, 20 years ago by families, there's only mum and dad left now, so they're wanting to downsize or just sell. And the prices dropped a bit, but we don't seem to have any problem in selling them, although the price isn't as good as when you bought them.
And what has been the value of ownership relative to the initial purchase and relative to your ongoing maintenance fees at the resort over the length of time that you've owned it?
I'll give you an idea of the maintenance fee. Our villa, which sleeps 7, the maintenance fee is $715 for the week. That's New Zealand dollars. In other words, it's $102 a day. And our one-bedroom unit is $488. As a family, when you compare the prices compared to a motel, you're looking at probably $180 to $200 a night to get anything like the facilities we have. Economically, it works out very well for us.
And for those listeners who might be interested, $1 US equals $1.40 New Zealand dollars. So it sounds like a fun place to go, and some place that our listeners should really consider.
It is. Taupo, as I said earlier, is very famous for trout fishing. Those who love trout fishing or hunting or skiing in the mountains, it's an ideal base for that type of activity.
Are there any large cities nearby?
Well, Taupo would be about 12,000 population, I think, 12 or 13,000. And then Rotorua is within 50 minutes, and that's about 50,000.
I know you've just had the one experience with a timeshare, but you are reading what's going on. Would you offer any tips to any of our listeners or potential buyers who are thinking of considering becoming timeshare owners? Would you offer any specific advice to them?
Yeah, find out some of the owners' names and talk to them. Find out what the timeshare offers, what its maintenance fee is, and how long you can own it for.
And one of the things that you did was look at rental opportunities when looking to travel, and you mentioned there are excellent rental opportunities online at Red Week. So one of the things potential or prospective buyers can do would look for rentals and go there a few times before they consider buying. And that's pretty good advice today at any timeshare, no matter where it's located. So would you agree with that?
I would agree. We've found the timeshares that we've been to through Red Week have been excellent. They've been exactly what they said they are. Very high standard of accommodation, and we've been very pleased.
Great. I'm sure Red Week's going to be very happy with this interview, and I want to thank you for taking the time to participate with me and appreciate your support of Timesharing today.
That's all right. Thank you very much for calling, and I don't get paid by Red Week.
Right. But they should consider you as their chief spokesperson. Thanks so much. And this concludes this broadcast of TimeSharing Today Radio. You know, whether you're an owner or an industry professional, your opinions, suggestions, and experiences are all very important to us. So if you'd like to participate in a future broadcast, or if you'd like to suggest a topic for TimeSharing Today Radio, please send an email to staff@tstoday.com. So until next time, happy timesharing.